Opening drive. We're going to recap the national championship in which Alabama won 26-23 in overtime. Great
Ballers.
national championship games. They are ballers. My leadoff question, first question is, when are they going to name the national championship trophy the Saban Trophy? It needs to be the Nick Saban Trophy already.
Hopefully tomorrow, because he is the cheese.
What kind of cheese?
Blue cheese.
Oh, my God.
He stinks and he's delicious at the same time. Yeah.
One of the big stories from the national championship was Jalen Hurts left the game, and a freshman quarterback. I'm trying to say his name, but I still can't even say his name.
His first name's Tua. I know that. He went to the same high school as Marcus Mariota, so.
I knew they were close friends.
No, you didn't.
But, yeah, I did. They did talk about. They reached out to Marcus Mariota like, oh, your buddy, oh, your friend, Tua. Anyway, Tua comes in after Alabama was shut out the first half. He comes in the second half and lights up in Alabama fashion. Impressed with that switch, I have to imagine you are.
Yeah, I am. And the weird thing about it is I think Nick Saban knew the whole season that Tua was a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. But I think Nick Saban, for as crazy of a coach as he is, he seems to have some sort of allegiance towards his players. And I really think he didn't want to make the switch during the year because he didn't want to scare off recruits that once they got there that they could easily be replaced in their second or third year. So,
but that's got to be a testament to the Nick Saban mindset that anybody and everybody needs to be ready to go and should be ready to go.
I also think that he was the best quarterback on the team, and he should have been starting the whole season. But all the freshmen that came in and scored all those touchdowns in the second half, it's literally like Saban took out his whole first-team offense in the second half, put a bunch of second-teamers and freshmen out there, and they just scored 26 points in the second half and made everything a lot better for Alabama. So,
what I was most impressed with was how Jalen Hurts handled himself at the interview at the end. You did think that it was a good move,
even during the game.
Even during the game. He's biggest sideline cheerleader, biggest supporter. When Tua went in, he's all in there like, let's go. All the goofy pump up stuff they do. And speaking of freshmen,
no wonder you need a new computer.
Speaking of freshmen, a lot of credit has to be given to Georgia Jake Fromm. Leads them all the way to a national championship. He was kind of the similar situation, just except not in the last game of the year. He kind of took over first game of the year. So he had a little bit of time to take over. But nonetheless, Jake Fromm still deserves some credit.
Ya boy.
Good comments on Jake Fromm's performance.
All right, well, anyways, on Jake Fromm's performance, just real quick. He played really well, and the issue wasn't that he let them down at the end of the game. It was that once Georgia was up 20-7, they just started playing not to lose instead of playing to win, and that's what killed them.
Nick Saban will always take advantage of you if you're playing to not lose.
Well, that's one of Nick Saban's at least that was from like 2009 to 2014 before Lane Kiffin got there, was to play not to lose and just play defense, which was his MO, and that's exactly what Kirby Smart tried to do in the second half. Just play enough to have more points than them at the end of the game, and it didn't work out.
That win, by the way, officially puts Nick Saban at 12-0 against his predecessors.
And he has 6 national championships.
Oh, lest we forget that little piece of information, too.
And his 6 national championships are more than all of the coaches in college football right now combined. So, in Division I.
Very true. And he tied Bear Bryant, right? He tied Bear Bryant for most all-time national championships. Now, what does this mean for great, this season's over. Alabama was victorious this year. Where do they go next season? Are they still going to be 1-2 come next season? What's AJ's very, very, very early number 1, number 2 for next season?
My very, very, very early 1 and 2 is Alabama and Clemson.
Georgia's not up there?
I mean, Georgia's in the top 5, but they're not number 2. Clemson, I think Clemson would have beat Georgia. Georgia already beat Oklahoma. I think Clemson was the second best team in college football, and they just had a really bad game against Alabama, and they couldn't throw the ball because Kelly Bryant, he's not a pocket passer, he's a runner, but they're still the second best team in the country, in my opinion.
Now, we've seen Clemson when they get hot and they made the national championship, they've made the playoffs consecutive years. Are we going to see that out of Georgia making it consecutive years?
It's possible. I just know that it's tough, and I know they're losing 2 key linebackers, especially that number 3 that plays middle linebacker. I don't know what his name is, but he was the leader of that defense in replacing those guys. Though they're not going to be bad, but I don't know how easy it is. I mean, you saw how tough the road was just to get to the playoffs for Georgia when they had to play Auburn. They didn't have to play Alabama during the regular season. I don't know if they ever do, but the SEC schedule is just so tough that you can't ever tell.
And finally, the argument's been made. We got a particular fan base that is still not happy with the outcome of the college football playoffs. Talking about that glorious fan base out of the city of Columbus.
Jesus Christ.
Did the best team, you can make this debate all you want, so we're going to ask AJ, did the best team in college football win the national championship?
Yes, Alabama would have beat Ohio State by 40 points, just like Ohio State lost to Clemson last year by 40 points. Ohio State lost to frickin' 6-6 Iowa, 56-24. Give me a break.
And just a little news for today, another fan base that's not happy with the results, UCF called out Alabama today. So we'll ask you again, did the best team in college football win the national championship?
Has anybody seen the last episode of Blue Mountain State? Because if you haven't, you should go watch it.
That's what everyone's hoping for. That's what we are hoping for. We want that cornfield matchup. Bring it down.
It wasn't a cornfield. It was a marijuana field.
I'm sorry. I kind of PG'd it for the show, but we'll go ahead and it's a marijuana field. That was the opening drive sponsored by the JV Report. Hey, JV.
Report.